Today I want to show you how that I made a mealworm farm. We're going to be using a Hefty 15 quart. I got it at my local Lowe's. It's around $4 to $5. I got 3 of them, and then I had a piece of leftover screen. It's just a wire mesh metal screen. I have a gas torch soldering iron that you have there. Any soldering iron will work, electric one. And then I have just a razor knife. So what we started with is the plastic totes. Again, this is a 15 quart, and you need 1 lid for this. And I cut out the bottom square, you can see there, and then I used a PVC cement. And as I cut that out, I cut slivers of the removed plastic about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch wide, and I cut a piece of screen to the bottom. So that's going to be the sifter for the mealworms. And as I was putting them all together in a 3-stack fashion, they'll have about an 1.5 inch gap on the bottom, and I used the gas soldering iron, and I put holes right through so that there's actually ventilation holes, so that the moisture level doesn't go up and there's oxygen that gets in there for them. And then I'll have basically the frass catcher in the bottom. I will have one for the actual mealworms, and then I'll have one for the pulpae and the beetles that'll actually be laying the eggs over there. And then we'll be collecting the frass in the bottom that'll fall through the filtering system. So every 30 or 40 days, or as you start seeing beetles, you pull them up to the top, or frass up to the you'll start pulling the beetles up to the top, and then you'll end up having the adults in the top laying the eggs, and then as that keeps on going, you'll rotate the bins up through, and you'll be able to have a nice population that's going to start from there. So how the whole system works, I'll show you in an update video later on. What we have from here, there, and I started with again, I have a bearded dragon, so getting the bearded dragons food that wasn't crickets that were going to be loud and obnoxious and annoying, I ended up getting maybe 50 to 100 mealworms at our local PetSmart or pet store, and you'll be able to go from there. And then they multiply pretty quickly. So from the mealworm all the way up through, it's about 80 days that they can start laying, the adults can start laying the eggs. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see how it works in the next few months. It does have ventilation holes. It's got a lid so none of them can get out. It's got the automatic sifter right in there. And one of the things I learned while I was doing this is I was using the electric or gas soldering iron, and I was punching holes through to get the ventilation. And as they lined up, it actually melted the containers together. So melting the containers together was actually a stronger seal and bond. So I had to break them apart, but when I did that, I went through them, and you can see on here, I actually just melted them all together right through, and that's going to give a nice, firm, siftable bond, and it has, and that was pretty much instantly dry. The PVC cement seemed to hold pretty good, but I just went through and reinforced it. Some people put screws or modifications in there so that it's going to be a lot stronger of a bond. The melting of the plastic is probably one of the strongest bonds I think you could have. So, look forward to having some update videos.